What's up, THL, and welcome to another episode of SHL Sunday Night Ticket. I'm Mark Shire, and I'm joined tonight by Force of Will.
Hey, everybody, how you doing this evening? Glad to be back. Week 3 SHL, and we have some great matches tonight, actually. It looks like we have a number 2 seed match between Piss and Team Next Level, and I think a number 1 seed match against Defias Henchman and Explosive Sheep.
Yep, and our first match tonight is going to be Kroozin of Team Next Level going up against MVParker, who is subbing for Piss this week. The bans are in from both players, so we know that Kroozin has banned MVParker's Druid, and Parker has banned Kroozin's Rogue.
It's like, yeah, very interesting ban, especially from MVParker, because at least 2 of these classes, I think, are, and depending on what that druid is, I'm not 100% certain if it's Jade or token aggro druid, but 2 of the decks he has seem to do very well against rogue. So I'm kind of curious on that rogue ban.
Yeah, I was definitely a little bit surprised by that too. I'm not really sure what strategy he's going for there. I would say that means that he's bringing more control-oriented decks, but there isn't really a control variant of Hunter that he could be bringing. But maybe that means he's running like a control shaman list.
Could be. There's like someone like the Spirit Echo shamans, something along those lines. So yeah, that makes sense. Now the Druid, I think, makes a little bit more sense depending on what his other 3 decks are. If it's Jade Druid, I can see that banning the other Jade Druid out. Mage, again, if it's more of a Discover Burn Mage, possibly. Again, I'm still a little lost on that one, but I at least see the logic behind banning the Druid on this one.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, Burn Mage is definitely still very popular, but we're also seeing in these past couple weeks Secret Mage pick up in popularity, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw that from Kroozin tonight.
Oh yeah, no, definitely wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, the Secret Mage seems to have been kind of the new hotness on Ladder. It's the new hotness in THL and SHL. I know both my games this past week I played Secret Mage in both. So definitely something that is seeing a little bit more popularity, and we're still waiting for them to go into match. Anything else besides the Hunter? I think the Shaman is the other oddball deck in this group. I think because it's something that's not popular on Ladder, but it can definitely have a lot of tournament last year standing implications.
Yeah, absolutely. Something to note: Piss is up 9-6 in this match, with I believe 2 matches left to play. So MVParker getting this win could seal the game or seal the series this week for Pocahontas in Space.
Yeah, they could. That would move them to 3-0, I believe, after their win last week against. We watched them on. Who were they playing last week?
I don't remember, but
doesn't matter.
I'm pretty sure they're 2-0.
Was it doesn't matter? It may have been doesn't matter. I'm not 100% certain on that, but yeah, they're 2-0 already. Team Next Level, they are. Let's see where they're at right now. Yeah, they won last week. Did they win week 1?
Yeah, I'm not sure what their record is. I do know that both these players are already into their game, with MVParker on his Hunter and Kroozin playing his aggro druid.
All right, excellent. And I just checked. Team Next Level is 1-1.
The light protects me.
All right, so Parker has a pretty solid curve right here. Gonna go Alley Cat into this Kindly Grandmother. It looks like Kroozin's hand is, I think, leaves something to be desired. He has these cards like Savage Roar and Mark of Yasarj, which are really only good if you already have board presence, and it's not looking that he's going to be able to get that much in these early stages of the game.
All right, let's see. Sorry, I'm just getting in now. All right, so I have Parker, and let me bring up Kroozin. All right, so I missed the first couple of turns, but we already have a Kindly Grandmother, and this is Token Druid for Kroozin. And he's gonna. What in the world is he gonna coin out for here?
Yeah, I have to apologize. My spectator client bugged out. I was
No problem.
frozen, so I'm just getting back in.
All right, so he coined out the Murloc War Leader, which is interesting. Unfortunately for him, I thought he was going to maybe go with the. Okay, so Markshire is going with the Galaka Crawler here, and I think he's going to put the Kindly Grandmother into the Murloc. He's debating. Honestly, I would just go face here. I don't think you're just offering up a free kill on the.
All right, I'm back in. Yeah, I agree. I think MVParker is just going to hit face. I don't think you gain too much by swinging into the War Leader here. If Kroozin does choose to take the value trade into the 3-2, you can just kill it off the next turn. But MVParker thinks differently.
Yep. And Kroozin just drew the Murloc War Leader, so there's a couple interesting options here now. You could play the War Leader, and I believe, well, no, actually, either one would die at this point if he puts it into any of the creatures.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty awkward turn for him, especially with that double Savage Roar sitting in hand. It's really just not what you want to see at this stage of the game. But yeah, I think he might just go with that Bluegill and clear the board.
And the other option would be Mark of Yasharaj, and you can kill the Galaka Crawler and still have. Or actually, yeah, he can kill the 3-2. I mean, it's going to die this turn either way. And actually, now the MVParker can throw out this Scavenging Hyena and end up with a 4-3 here.
Yep, seems pretty good. He has the Tundra Rhino into High Main Curve as well. This Bloodsail Corsair is a really nice pickup for Kroozin because he can play it and Savage Roar to deal nicely with this Hyena.
Absolutely. This is like, yeah, we should. The Hyena's got to die this turn. If not, then it's going to start getting a lot of value overall. So.
Yep, and I mean, Kroozin could save the Bloodsail Corsair to hope to hit an Eaglehorn Bow, but I don't really think it's worth it. I think you just have to get the Hyena off of the board, but he chooses to go a different route using Bluegill here to finish it off.
Yeah, Bluegill in his face. So, now, the interesting scenario that he's going to run into next turn is he's gonna have to do that same play we just talked about to kill the Tundra Rhino, because he cannot let the Tundra Rhino live going into. Okay, I guess he disagrees.
I think he's just gonna go with the living mana. He doesn't really realistically have lines to win if he does just kill the Tundra Rhino. It's better to just hope that your opponent doesn't have high main. But unfortunately for Kroozin, Parker does.
Yeah, it's like, and I believe, let's see, 8 plus 5 is 13 plus hero power. He has got to clean up his own board a little bit for the Unleash the Hound that's in hand. But. Yeah,
so Savage Roar is a lot of damage here, for sure. So Kroozin is going to be able to clean up the board pretty nicely, and I like just killing the Tundra Rhino and then pushing face here.
Unfortunately, I still believe that's lethal with the Eaglehorn Bow in hand, so he can unleash Eaglehorn, and that should be 13.
Yep, yeah, this is going to be exact lethal for Parker here, but yeah, not much Kroozin can do there.
And there will come 4 hounds, and they will all be hit in the face, and MVParker will take game number 1 against Kroozin. All right, so we know Parker is going to be playing his Hunter next round. The question is, what do you queue into it? Your Rogue is out of the table. Your Druid is off the table. Partially, I'm leaning towards the Mage right now, but I'm not 100% certain on that.
Yeah, I would say it really depends on what variant he's running. If his Paladin is more of the aggressive Murloc type all-in on that Murloc synergy, then that generally is going to have a favorable matchup against the mid-range Hunter, and we'll see that. I believe that Secret Mage is slightly favored over Hunter, but it's definitely close either way.
And of course, if it's Freeze or something like that, that's meant to keep him alive, then I think it would move to heavily in his favor. Kroozin is going with the Mage here, so let's see what type of Mage he is playing. That appears to be Discover Mage with the Gluttonous Ooze, I believe, for weapon removal.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, Gunther Mage, Discover Mage. I see a lot of these lists with just Gluttonous Ooze a one of, and if that ends up hitting an Eagle Horn bow, that can be a really huge swing for Kroozin.
Absolutely. Kroozin has a little bit of slow hand, and actually, Parker I thought was going to have to coin out the Kindly Grandmother, but he did pick up the Jewel Macabre, and I'm sure he's going to just go with that.
Yep.
And
Infested Wolf is a really nice pickup off of this Macaw, just because it fills out his curve well. That's a card that you're pretty close to putting in your deck, I think, anyways.
All right. So Arcane Knowledge just comes out. He gets a Ice Block off of that, and he's going to just coin out the weapon to keep the board clear. And
this makes sense from Parker. Just continue to clear the board and protect your beast for maybe a buff with Scavenging Hyena next turn. Unfortunately, this plays right into the Gluttonous Ooze from Kroozin.
It does. So get a nice little chunk of light armor there, and then move back to MVParker. It looks like he's just going to try to put something on the board that's a little more sturdy, I guess is probably the better way to put it. But if Kroozin wants to, he can Hero Power and kill the Kindly Grandmother.
Yeah, I think playing the Grandmother makes sense. There's no reason to hit in and play the Hyena because it already dies to the board. Kroozin here, I think he's basically faced, he can either play a secret or a draw, and I think I like drawing a little more while he's not being pressured too much, just get some more resources in his hand so he can deal with a future onslaught.
I'm going to say, and the good news is he was able to pick up Medee's Valet there as well, so he'll be able to play a secret next turn as well as kill something. Either one of these things on the board is really his option if he wants to put his creature into the 1/1 Kindly Grandmother and then use Medee's Valet to finish it off.
Right. I think, though, that Volcanic Potion pickup is going to result in a different play. Okay, Ping Volcanic Potion was a full clear there, but he chose to not go for that and instead just wants to build his board up and deal with the Grandmother.
All right. So going back here, yeah, I think this is a Tundra Rhino turn. It's actually a clear board on the other side now. And he'll be able to kill that. And again, he has turn 6 Savannah Highmane here if it's not dealt with. Now, in this case, I think this is where you can ping the Infested Wolf and then use the Volcanic Potion to clean up the board entirely. And
yep. Yeah, I think this is fine. You just want to keep the Hunter's board clear. So Parker has a pretty easy Highmane this turn. Highmane on an empty board always feels good.
Absolutely. Of course, he actually just drew an excellent answer to it in Firelance Porter. You can kill that lane with just 2 2/2s.
Yep, I'm sure that we're going to see the portal this turn. And a 4/6 is, I would say, slightly above average pull. So Kroozin's definitely happy to see that. It contests the board pretty nicely.
And it's like, okay, well, he got the Leoric, and he's actually going to throw a bunch of stuff down here.
Wow, yeah.
Shield. Wow, this is huge.
Yeah, that's a huge roll from the Leoc, and this Divine Shield is going to further protect the Hyena, and I think Kroozin is just forced to spend his turn pinging and fireballing that Hyena off.
Yeah, you cannot let that Hyena stay on the battlefield, and you can't kill another one of the 2 beasts there, because then you're just going to make it bigger and even more difficult to deal with. So, yeah, I think ping.
The question is whether or not you play Thalnos to cycle, and I think you do. Your hand is decent because you have Alex, but you may as well just get some more cards, because you're going to need some more resources to respond to the Hunter's threats.
Absolutely. All right, so you got Alley Cat here and has a Rat Pack. I probably see both of them come down, actually.
Yep, I think so. I think we'll see Parker trade the Leoc into that Thalnos.
All right, so
other than that, a pretty straightforward play.
Yeah, so the Ice Barrier is popped, and yeah, the Leoric goes into Blood Mage Salamis, and so I guess the question at this point is, does Parker have Flame Strike? Because we haven't seen it yet, and there's 14 cards left in library, so my guess is he's running at least 1.
Yeah, I think most variants of this list are just running 1 Flame Strike, 1 Meteor, and even Meteor would be a really good card for him to get. He glyphs for an answer here, and Pyroblast is not what you want to see. I think the pick here is just Forbidden Flame.
I agree. I think it's just removal. Vaporize, when you have the 2 Alley Cats out here, or even the Rat Pack, if you pick Vaporize, you're going to give him the best option of what to kill. Forbidden Blade's just hard removal at this point for pretty much anything that comes on board. So yeah, I definitely agree. Forbidden Flame, I think, is definitely the pick here.
Yeah, I think he's gonna want to use that to remove the.
Oh,
he picks the Vaporize instead.
That's surprising.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that Vaporize because it can just so easily be procced by one of those alley cats, which is really low value.
Well, he does pick the Shadow Word Pain, which at least gets rid of the Leok, and he can ping off one of the alley cats. My guess is he didn't throw it on this board yet. I'm guessing he wants to wait for something a little bit bigger, maybe when there's only a Savannah High main out to put that Vaporize on the battlefield.
I would guess so, but like there's 2 1/1s on the board, and now even more tokens from Rat Packs. So I think it's pretty unlikely he gets a good target with Vaporize.
Well, actually,
that's a huge top deck for Kroozin.
That was great. Volcanic Potion and Ping to finish off the Galactic Crawler is pretty much exactly what he's looking for here.
And this is, I believe the other Volcanic Potion was naturally in his deck as well, right? So that means he's running 2 Volcanic Potions.
Right. That's what I'm getting from this as well. Yeah, those were both in his deck.
I think that makes sense, though. It's really good against Hunter, and it can be strong against Shaman as well, especially against these token Shaman builds that we're seeing now. So pretty good tech from Kroozin, I think.
All right, so that was a pretty weak turn overall. Is this a turn we just Alec his face?
Yep, I think you absolutely Alex here. You have the easy 2-turn lethal, and unless the Hunter is running Flare, there's not really a way that you lose from here because you have the second Ice Block in hand. Parker is going to do the best that he can to stay alive and try to protect his face from taking 8 damage to that Alex. He's actually just going to kill the Alex entirely.
Right, which is okay, but it's not great. He did pick up Mana Worm, but honestly, I think this... Well, if you want to, I guess you can Mana Worm, Fireball the face, and then... I guess Arcanologist. See, my guess is I think he used both of his. No, he still has. He may have another Ice Barrier in deck right now. That he can pull right now.
I mean, this is fine. Either Pyroblast or Fireball there both gets the job done.
But I don't think it's going to matter. There's nothing that he has that MVParker has on Battlefield right now that can actually end this game. So Kroozin will end it next turn with the Pyroblast to the face, and Kroozin will even the series up at 1-1.
Yep, well played from Kroozin there. So MVParker cannot play his Hunter anymore, and he will be forced to switch either to Rogue or Shaman. And if I were Parker, I think I would go with the Rogue.
I think so here. This with the depending on what his Rogue is, but even really in either case, even if it's Miracle or Quest Rogue, is I think both of them are somewhat favored against the Gunter Mage or the Discover Mage, Burn Mage, whatever his name is this week.
Yeah, I think they are both favored over the Mage. The Shaman, if it's Elemental Shaman, is definitely unfavored. So yeah, I think we'll definitely see Parker do the Rogue here.
No, actually, Parker is going with the Shaman this time. And it appears to be standard Elemental Shaman here.
Wow, that yeah, we see the Calamos, so this is no doubt an Elemental Shaman list. I'm actually really surprised to see that.
With a Jade package in there. I don't know how heavy it is on one or the other, but
wow, so yeah, this is an interesting deck then. If he's running Jade Spirits, I wonder if he's also running the 7 mana, I'm forgetting its name, but the 7 mana Jade Activator. Someone's one with Taunt.
Yeah, Jade Behemoth? No, that's Druid. Yeah, I think it's
I'm forgetting the name of it, but
I am too, actually, at the moment. But anyway, so Parker is just going to equip the weapon, make a 1/1 here. I'm pretty sure this is probably just be a ping turn here, though. You don't have to. You can play. If you have an Arcanologist, you can get a Secret to Hand if you would like.
Well. I think the Arcanologist is...
I forgot. He has Gluttonous Ooze, so coin out that Gluttonous Ooze and just take out the weapon now.
Yeah, you're completely right. The Gluttonous Ooze isn't really getting any better, and as a bonus, this tilts Parker, which is always a viable strategy.
Yes. All right, so Parker's just gonna. He didn't really have any other play besides totem there pass. So now, if he wants to, he can coin, or he can. He's just gonna throw up the ice block now. You can just kill the 1/1, pretty much no issue here.
I like the ice block here. While it may not get a minion on the board, it sets up for double valet really well, and I think that's going to be Kroozin's play here for sure. Just double valet and then trade the 3/2 into the Wrath of Air Totem.
Excuse me, you are on fire.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's just gonna clear. He's gonna clean the board up here. And again, Shaman's another one of those decks. If you can keep the board as clear as possible, it puts you in a much better position than
Yeah, exactly.
than further down. So.
Yeah, Shaman is, especially Elemental Shaman, is a deck that relies heavily on board control. Parker's hand with double Hex is not looking great here, and he's just going to force to Totem and Hot Springs his face to try to contest the board a little bit.
I say the problem is, though, he can, Kroozin can clear this board pretty easily, even without having to throw a spell into it. He can use the 2 valets to kill the Hot Spring Guardian, use the Ooze to kill the Wrath of Air Totem, and actually he has some good choices here too. Meteor is an excellent choice. Flame Geyser as well, but I think Meteor has to be the choice here.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just the most value, and even though you're in a position here where you're really ahead on the board, the Hot Springs sort of signifies that it is Elemental Shaman. The Jade Spirit as well signifies that this is going to be a more value-oriented, slower Shaman, and you're going to need those powerful board clears and hard removal like Meteor. I think I'd like to see him put the Gluttonous Ooze and then ping to keep the 2/2/3s on the board, and that's exactly what he does.
Yep, that's actually probably the better lineup there to do that. Of course, Parker did get the 12-year Stone Shaper. He can do that, and he'll get the Elemental bonus. And if he wants to even throw an additional Elemental out there, he does have Firefly to do that this turn.
Yep, he can either Totem here or Firefly and maybe play a Flame Elemental. Now, something of note is that 12-year Stone Shaper is not an Elemental itself, so if he were to top deck, say, a Blaze Caller, it would not be activated. But
no,
Parker decides to Totem anyways.
No, not. And I'm sure he knows his deck list. We did see in the mulligan that Calamos is in the deck, so he might want to just save it for turn 7 on the off chance that he does top deck Calamos, but...
Yep, I think that makes sense. And this is a really easy Fireball ping for Kroozin. Just efficiently remove the 12-year Stone Shaper and keep the board.
All right, so we got a taunted Tar Creeper here. This seems pretty easy. Contest the board very nicely, as well as he can Totem and even throw the 2 Fireflies if he really wants to, or at least throw one.
Yeah,
on. I'll probably hold the other one.
I think you should definitely hold the other one for more elemental procs down the line.
Well, Kroozin does have the Meteor. He can clean the board up if he wants, but I don't know if Meteor for a 3/5 is the best option right now.
Yeah, I feel like he can get a little bit more value out of his Meteor. It seems like a bit of an overreaction to do that on the Tar Creeper. He might just want to trade in and Frostbolt it. And he chooses to go with a Volcanic Potion, actually.
Which it will keep the 2/1 on the field, and then he'll be able to add to it by playing the Arcanologist after that. So yeah, excellent, and he'll get another Ice Block.
Yeah, and I actually really like that Volcanic Potion from Kroozin there, because at this stage in the game, it's pretty unlikely that an Elemental Shaman is gonna get a board like that with so many minions that have low health. So it's probably the most value he's gonna get out of the card in this game.
All right, so now he has a second one of these to deal with. Now, I did notice he is holding Frostbolt in hand, so he could just Frostbolt this and send the 2/1 in if he really wants. Or play the Blood Mage Thalamus first and then just ping it, and that would be a lot cleaner.
I really like this this Thalamus play here. You get the Thalamus down to cycle next turn and efficiently remove the Tar Creeper and maintain your board. And we have not seen any board clears from Parker yet. No Maelstroms, no Lightning Storms, no Volcanoes.
Oh, and that's about the worst pick and draw right now in the deck, I think. Is he can throw it in between these two, but it's basically tossing it out there for free at this point.
I don't think there's a reason to play the Flame Tongue. Parker does play the Flame Elemental out, so if he top decks something that needs an Elemental proc, then he'll have it. But if not, it's sort of a precious resource to throw away.
It's like, well, Kroozin did pick up the Firelance portal. Again, he can cleanly kill the Firelance port, the wind speaker here, with that and a ping.
Yeah, portaling the wind speaker, yeah, and then pinging down the totem. There are some pretty good plays that he has here, but he's just going to choose to Alex the face here, and I think he still wants to take some trades. I actually would have liked, if he's doing this play, I would have liked to see him trade the Thalnos into the totem first to get that draw.
Right, absolutely. And so now, of course, Kroozin doesn't know this, but we do, that the Alexstrasza is already answered with one of the 2 hexes that's in MVParker's hand.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think the Alexstrasza is still fine to play here when you have board control. Even if you don't have the burn to finish the game off, it pressures your opponent a lot and gives you a lot more time to draw into that burn that can finish the game because you know you won't die anytime soon. Parker here, he definitely has to hex this Alexstrasza, and I agree with this Jade Lightning as well to try to get the board back.
Alright, so that'll give him a 3-4, 3-3. Actually, he right now he can test the board very nicely. And yeah, now he can Firelance portal, doesn't even have to ping, and it will kill the wind speaker here, or water speaker.
Yeah, I like the portal here. I don't think there's any reason for Kroozin to start randomly trying to go face, even though he is very close to lethal. Parker only has 3 cards in hand, so I think Kroozin should recognize at this point that he can actually just outvalue his way to a victory. So I like the Mana Worm coming down here and then a portal on the Jinyu.
Yep, and then you even have enough to ping the totem off.
Yep, well, yeah, he can ping the 2-3, ping the 3-3, and then trade his 2-1 in if he wants to. But he is going to go with the Meteor.
Actually, yeah, he doesn't even have to throw a ping on that. So, and go and play an Ice Barrier. Yeah, this is looking bad because right now, with the board set up, if Parker does not clear anything, this is lethal.
Yeah, and this is actually really smart from Kroozin to use that Meteor instead of the Portal, because the Meteor can only be used to target minions, but the Portal has that flexibility of going face, which is exactly what Kroozin is going to do right now to finish the game.
Yep, this will put Kroozin up 2-1, and will only leave Parker with his Rogue deck. So it's interesting to see what this Rogue was now, because I think we're both in agreement that the Rogue is probably the better option to enter against the Mage with, but he decided the Shaman.
Yeah, that was surprising to me as well. So maybe he's running some Rogue variant that he feels is unfavored against Burn Mage. I believe that both Quest Rogue and Miracle Rogue are both slightly favored over this Burn Mage, but we'll see if he's playing that, or maybe he's playing some other Rogue like Tempo Rogue.
Well, see a Pirate, but no Quest, so this is at least Miracle Rogue at the moment.
Seeing the Sap, I think I feel pretty safe saying that it's Miracle and not Tempo Rogue. Parker is also known for playing Miracle Rogue. He's pretty good at it, so I'm not surprised to see him bring it here.
I would say in the Arcane Giant, well, he has an interesting turn 1. You can at least get a 6/6 Van Cleef out of this, so
that's not bad.
Not bad at all. So I would be very shocked if he does not coin both these out. And
yeah, Parker sees it. There's really no downside to making this play, because there's a good percentage of the time it just wins you the game on the spot.
Well, Kroozin does have an answer, but it's going to be 2 turns before he can play it. But MVParker has the clean answer on the Arcanologist, so Krozin's going to get hit for at least 6 here. And unfortunately, he has nothing in hand right now to deal with this. Edwin. Yeah,
he can Fireball it next turn, so I think he just wants to stall here. I would like to see him play the Ice Barrier here, just sort of negate that Edwin attack. And I think we'll see Parker just play the Razor Petal Lasher here, just to get another minion on the board.
Yep, so Ice Barrier is triggered. Of course, I want to take all the armor off, but I take off a good portion. And Krozin's hovering over the fireball, just ready to unleash it on the Edwin Van Cleef.
Yep, he knows there is only one play here, and just snap plays it. Parker here has a pretty interesting hand. He doesn't really have any minions that he can play. He could have played Fan of Knives there just to cycle through his deck a little bit more and produce his Arcane Giant. I actually think I would have liked to see the Fan there rather than this hero power.
I definitely agree. I think that was the better plays. You want that Arcane Giant coming down about as soon as you can possibly get it. Interesting choices from Kroozin here. Now, the Radiant Elemental, though pre-staple, it actually has a lot of utility in this Discover Burn Mage deck. So I'm sort of interested if he'll choose that Radiant Elemental or not. The Vaporize is also another good option. He can kill one of those big creatures that you know is coming.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, the Radiant Elemental is clearly better than the Clutch Smuggler Zvas because there are no discard effects in this deck. Vaporize doesn't look too great now, but as we see in Parker's hand, this Miracle Rogue deck does run Arcane Giants. So maybe there's a chance that he could get lucky with Vaporize down the line, but overall, I think Radiant Elemental is the safer play here.
I agree. As I think this is easily the option. And Parker's going to have a very nice setup for next turn, at least, because now he can Fan of Knives the Courier and use his own face to kill it. So he'll get to draw a card and cycle as well here. So
I'm sort of confused why Kroozin chose to ping the face rather than the 2/2 there. You might think that trade is already happening, but I think it's a fair assumption to make that after you saw a turn 4 hero power pass, your opponent has some removal in hand. So Parker is going to be able to deal with the 2/2 pretty efficiently.
So next turn, I don't think, unless he gets a counterfeit coin off the next draw, I don't see Parker going with Gadgetzan Auctioneer yet. Kroozin, he could Volcanic Push in. I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot of creatures. It's not like MVParker is going to flood the board. So, I mean, it is basically a one-for-one removal here. So,
yeah, with 2 of them in hand, he may as well play it here. And he could cycle Thalnos, but you might get value out of the spell power. And Ice Block is just on curve, and you know you're going to have to play it this game. So I think blocking is fine.
Oh, there's Patches.
Ooh, that's probably the last card that Parker wants to see here. Hallucination will give him Primordial Glyph, and this is potentially very strong.
Oh, and he chose Discover Death Rattle. Well,
All right.
actually
Clearly the pick there was Blade Flurry, so misplay from Parker there. Yeah, but Journey from Below is going to give him a Zeril, which is pretty nice.
And he'll probably re-weapon up and pass turn. So
there is some merit here to saving Patches for maybe a Cold Blood down the line, but I guess there isn't that much wrong with just playing it this turn. Force him hang out.
And actually, he will be able to. He can play the Radiant Elemental, but the problem is he doesn't even have a really good spell to cast with it. I mean, he'll probably play the Blood Mage Thalamus here, get a little more, get the ability to cycle that card at least.
Yeah, he really needs this cycle. Kroozin's hand is not good. Alexstrasza is, of course, a card that you want to have in your hand heading into the late game, but second block doesn't do anything, and Volcanic Potion is pretty unlikely to get value out of in this game, I think. So Kroozin's really looking, I think, to draw into more value generators like a Glyph or maybe an Arcane Intellect.
Okay, so let's see. MVParker looks like he's going to go with the Zero Poison Mind here, and he does get the draw card. That's actually one of the better ones you can get off of that.
Yep, I think this is really good. He's loading his hand with some cheap spells, going into what will most likely next turn be a Gadgetzan turn where he also can drop Arcane Giant. I think that's what he's setting up for. And Eviscerate and a Dagger Punch is going to be able to deal with most of this board.
And actually, I think MVParker will be very happy if Kroozin decides to put that Radiant Elemental into Zero, because that will give him another cheap spell to go along with for Gadgetzan Auctioneer.
Right. Kroozin has some interesting choices here. I still think that the pick is Meteor, just because it deals so well with Arcane Giants, which you have to be expecting from Parker.
Absolutely. I think Meteor is definitely the choice here for removal. Yep.
See the
Yeah,
Meteor
he-
and Gluttonous Ooze, it isn't getting any better. You know Parker isn't running any other weapons in his deck. And Kroozin, he's gonna just ping this and go face.
That's actually interesting. I mean, I guess you make him give it up because now he actually has a better target because now he can get 3 power off the battlefield instead of 2. So you can put the 0 onto the Gluttonous Ooze and then.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he wouldn't try to protect his stronger minion there. And the face damage isn't really doing that much, where you're almost certainly just wanting to offensively Alex next turn.
All right, so
Parker picks up deal 2 damage, which is really good because he also has the Razor Pedal, so that can be a full clear on this 2-3.
actually, and he just picked up the prep as well. So depending on what else he draws, okay. Well, there's a counter pick.
Oh, wow.
Coin, nice. This is gonna be a great turn for him.
Huge pickup for Parker there, and yeah, this is gonna let him get his Arcane Giant down to 0.
If he's even feeling really cheeky, he could eviscerate, prep eviscerate, but I guess he's not ready to do that yet. So, I mean, the Meteor has got to come down this turn. There's Meteor ping, get rid of both those. So,
yeah, Kroozin has the full clear, so he of course discovers first, orders it correctly, and we're just gonna see that. Frost Nova, I think, was the only pick there. The other options didn't look too appealing.
well, in all those draws, he actually did get a second Gadget and Auctioneer, so he does have some options here. But I think he wants to get more cheap spells as well as can use the Vile Spine Slayer to actually clean up the board if you would like, or he can use SI7 Agent. It's easier.
Yeah, I think this is fine. The downside of this play is it doesn't get too much offensive power onto the board, so Kroozin is going to be able to deal with this easily with Volcanic Potion, and he's fine with this. He's just stalling for turns where he can draw into more burn. He knows the Miracle Rogue doesn't have any healing, so any damage put to the face is going to be permanent.
And so, my guess is, yeah, I think Volcanic Potion here is the easy Volcanic Potion ping. He did pick up the Firelance Portal, so whenever he is ready to Alex Straza, he'll at least have his first piece of burn ready to go.
Yeah, I think there's also some merit to just Alexing this turn, because if he does end up clearing this board with Volcanic Potion, it's pretty likely that Parker is going to be able to have a good reload turn, like a Gagetson turn, or getting that second Arcane Giant now, and he might be too pressured to ever use that offensive Alex again.
Runs out on me.
Alright, so Rope is burning. I think he's trying to decide which one of the 2 plays he actually wants to go with. He's looks like he might go with the Alex Straza.
Yeah, and yeah, and I think that Alex Straza is right. It is a little bit risky, but he has to play to win here. And this is okay, yeah. And so he does just go with Volcanic Potion and clears the board off here. But you have to expect some sort of strong turn in response to this with how full Parker's hand is right now.
It's like, yeah, this is going to be huge because now he just drew Fan Knives, so he'll be able to prep Fan Knives, draw 3 cards off this. Or Mimic Pod will also work. What will he get?
He gets double prep though, which is not extremely useful at this stage of the game.
Yeah, well, he did get the Arcane Giant, so at least he'll be able to throw another 8 on the battlefield.
Right. I would say right now, though, Parker is risking just losing this game to fatigue because the only real threat he has is the Arcane Giant. Of course, the Firelands portal that he got off Hallucination is going to be really huge.
Yep. Unfortunately for him, Kroozin does have a answer for the time being, at least, with the Frost Nova, and he can even actually kill off the Gadget and Auctioneer this turn if he would like with Medee's Valet and Ping.
Yep, he could, but I wonder if he even wants to kill that Auctioneer off. Maybe he just wants to leave it up and let Parker draw himself into fatigue, because Parker's going to have to play spells. Most of his hand is spells, and he's getting really close to fatigue here.
That is definitely an option here for what he could. Yeah, he could leave it up and just say, just Frost Nova the whole board, and even, per Firelands Portal into the face, if he would like.
That's possible. He could also just completely kill off the Arcane Giant with Portal and Valet. Portaling the Gadgetsin is interesting. And okay, then he's gonna freeze the board. So this is fine, I think.
Gives him a 5/4. Oh, there is Sherazin, which is even more dangerous right now because, well, actually the Gadgetzan auctioneer is gone, so I guess it's not as terrible as it could be. But
yeah, Sherazin is. This isn't when Parker wanted to see this card as such so late game now, but he definitely has the hand to proc it at least once or twice.
all right, so Kroozin is going to go face with that. Unfortunately, he has the answer with the Valspine Slayer, and well, actually, he's running Questing Adventure here.
Yeah, that's interesting. I would assume that's only as a one-of, but Questing Adventure has been a staple in Miracle Road for a while now.
All right, so pops the block at 1. That's pretty much exactly where he wants it, especially holding Razor Petal. Of course, we know that Kroozin is actually holding the second ice block right now.
Yep, and Kroozin right now, I think his outs are Pyroblast, and he has 2 turns to draw that. Outside of Pyroblast, there's not that much that he's going to be able to do to win this game, I think.
Why is he Razor Petaling that?
He's getting his Questing Adventure out of Flame Strike range. I think it makes sense.
Excuse me.
Yeah. And he's going to toss down both Medee's Valet. Both of them are going to go to the face.
You are on fire.
Now, if that Firelands portal that we saw kill the Gadgetsin had gone face instead, Kroozin would have had a better chance to win this game because this second Firelands portal would have been lethal. Or wait, that was the turn before he played Alex, so
it was, yeah.
That was wrong.
All right, so unless he, well, oh wow, what a top deck! What a top deck!
Oh,
the Pyroblast top deck.
That is going to end
win
the
game. Wow.
Oh
Top
man,
deck
that's
Pyroblast.
devastating for MVParker. He must be so tilted right now.
I can imagine. Good lord, that was just rough. Just Pyroblast. I think he had 12 cards in the deck, and he draws the 1 Pyroblast out.
He had, yeah. So when he committed to that line, I guess he only had 2 chances to draw Pyroblast. It was because he had the second ice block. So definitely pretty lucky from Kroozin's side there.
All right. So we are now moving to our second match, which is Jet Law of Defias Henchman against Top Hat Demon. We actually saw Top Hat Demon last week beat D Lyman, I believe. And so let's talk a little bit about their lineups while our producer is getting them all set and ready to go into the match and everything. Jet Law is actually bringing Hunter, Mage, Paladin, Shaman here. And Top Hat Demon is bringing Druid, Mage, Rogue, Warrior. Just kind of going off of experience, what do you expect the bans to be on both sides here?
I would think that Top Hat wants to ban. Actually, this is sort of tough. I can see him wanting to ban Paladin here. I think Paladin's just a pretty strong class in general. That I think most of his decks have some weakness to it. And as for Jetlaw, he might be looking to ban the Druid or the Warrior. I don't think he wants to ban the Mage. I feel like he has decent matchups against that, and he might want to go the route of bringing a lot of aggro decks to try to target that Rogue.
Yeah, it's like, so yeah, I definitely don't see Jetlaw banning that Rogue. My guess is actually, if anything, I think I would. I don't know about Druid. I guess it depends on how well. Just remembering back to last week, did Top Hat Demon bring Jade Druid? Or did he bring aggro?
I know he played against a Jade Druid. I actually don't remember from last week though. I think both Druid decks are definitely pretty viable. I would think that against Jetlaw's lineup, he would want to go with. I think he'd want to go with Jade Druid. Actually, generally has better matchups against the Mage and also against the Shaman.
Agreed. So chances are he might have brought that. if he brought that, then I think Druid is definitively the ban. Of course, Jetlaw doesn't know. He knows the class. He doesn't know anything else. Of course, Warrior also has 2 archetypes. It could be Pirate or Taunt. I think if he's playing Pirate Warrior, you really do not care with your lineup that you have here. But if he's playing Taunt Warrior, that might be more problematic.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's definitely a lot of ways that both of these players can build their lineups.
So, yeah, and as for Top Hat Demon, I would assume the ban is probably going to be Paladin. I think most of the time, because Paladin has at least 3 viable archetypes right now, and it's really hard to metagame or to plan against one of them, and without making yourself incredibly weak to the other. So I'm assuming Paladin will probably be the ban from Top Hat Demon here, but. So apparently, I guess we're kind of in a little bit of delay. We're waiting for Top Hat Demon. I guess that first match ended a little quicker than we expected here. So kind of going back to the MVParker Kroozin match. Any surprises at the results there? Is besides the top deck Pyroblast for Kroozin?
I was pretty surprised. Parker is pretty well known in the THL community. Last season, he actually did win the MVP, although he was playing in the 3 seed at 500 PR for basically that entire season.
I believe the term dunking on the Fisher Price hoop was coined, thanks to that.
Yes, but he's still a strong player. Maybe he is not as well versed in the SHL format in last Hero Standing because he mostly plays Conquest. But I believe that he has subbed for SHL in the past. I'm pretty sure he subbed for PIS last season.
I think he play? He might have played on PIS last season. Or what team was he?
Oh no, he didn't play SHL last season.
He didn't. Okay.
But I think he did sub at least once.
Okay, got it. So he was a lot closer on beating that mage with the rogue. So I still don't know why the rogue was not queued into second.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that because it's absolutely just a better matchup for him. So if he had queued into the rogue and then let's say that he did win that match initially, if he had queued with the rogue against the mage and won that match initially, then he would be up against Paladin, and Miracle Rogue has just historically been strong against Paladin decks. Now that may be a little bit less true now with how powerful Paladin is, but I think that you really just want to get that win out of the way. Just take the higher percentage there.
Yeah, I agree. I think gone to Paladin, and then it would have been, assuming the Paladin actually ends up beating the Rogue, then it would have been a Paladin Shaman showdown, which would have been interesting. I think the Paladin is probably favored in that, but it would have been closer than we thought, probably. Yeah, especially with Elemental. So
I agree with that. So it looks like Top Hat Demon still is not showing up, not on Battle.net or Discord. So we might just have to call this one short, unfortunately.
Okay, so yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think unfortunately, unless we hear from him like in the next 2 minutes, then yeah, I believe we're gonna have to just call this a little bit short. Hopefully, they can play their game later tonight. So, any final thoughts for the evening?
I mean, it sucks that we didn't get to see the full 2 matches, but I had a lot of fun casting the first one. There were definitely some really great moments. I think pretty solid play on both sides. I didn't see too many obvious misplays from either player, so props to both of them. Yeah,
absolutely. I think they both played well. I think the only even remotely questionable call was queuing the Shaman into the mage first. But beyond that, I think everything else was perfect. I didn't see any glaring misplays or anything like that. So I guess with that, then we will see you, I guess, next week. Trying to think.
Yeah, I think this show should be still good to go next week. Again, unfortunate that we only got 1 match, but we should be back with at least 2 next week. So hope to see you all then.
All right. Bye, everybody.